in this series, and they will play a significant role again tonight. I want to bring in Adrian Wojnarowski with the very latest on that. Woj, what do we have tonight as far as the injury impact on tonight's Game 5?
With the Celtics, Marcus Smart will return tonight. He missed game. He got a brace on that ankle, but he's going to play down on the.
All right, so as you can tell, we're having some problems with Woj's mic, and we will get the information from him as quickly as we can. What I can tell you for certain is that Tyler Hero is not available tonight for the Heat. He will miss his second consecutive game. What I believe Woj is telling us is that Marcus Smart and Robert Williams are both expected to play for the Celtics. Again, we'll get that audio issue straightened out quickly, and we will hear it all from him immediately. But let's deal in that. Tyler Hero's absence once again. What does that mean for the home team tonight?
Bad news when you miss a shot creator, the reigning sixth man of the year. However, found money in Victor Oladipo, former All-NBA performer and All-Star. Not only defensively, but offensively. He carried this offense for the Miami Heat. How about this, Stephen A? He scored 23 points. The starters together scored 18. That has never happened in the history of the NBA playoffs where a substitute outscored the starter. So he's been terrific. I think he responds tonight.
Is that enough, Stephen A? Do they have enough offense without Tyler Hero, with Jimmy Butler, who we do expect to play, but once again, clearly not 100% with that need? Can they find enough offense to win tonight and win this series?
For Game 5, yes. And I don't want to be cruel or disrespectful because I got a lot of respect for Tyler Hero. He was my selection. I voted for him for Sixth Man of the Year. But he's not going to be that missed. He's only shot 23% from three-point range in this series, averaging 13.5 points. As far as I'm concerned, as anemic as he's been, he's actually been in the way of a Victor Oladipo. The more time that you can give Victor Oladipo, the better, because Victor Oladipo can ball. He was a former #1 option, and he's incredibly hungry to show that he's back from that nasty injury, and he can make a contribution because he's playing for a future in a new contract.
Another thing you could do, Duncan Robinson could reappear and get some minutes. We saw him get hot. Granted, it was a blowout the other night in Game 4. But you can go to Duncan Robinson if you need to, and the Miami Heat are in a need-to situation.
Hold that thought one moment here, because I do have Woj back. So that's the deal with the Heat. Woj, we were not able to hear the update on the Celtics, but of course 2 of their most important players have been banged up. What is the latest on them?
Yeah, Greeny, let's try that again. Marcus Smart and Robert Williams, they're both in the lineup tonight. Marcus Smart coming back, from that sprained right ankle. The swelling's down. He was out pregame, moving around pretty well on it. He's got a brace on his ankle, I'm told. He'll wear that for the first time since he was playing at Oklahoma State. But getting the league's defensive player of the year back in the lineup. And Robert Williams, who's had that troublesome left knee throughout the postseason, he's also in the lineup for Boston. So as they try to get this series back to Boston at 3-2, they've got their team whole here tonight.
Woj, outstanding. Thank you. And we'll check in with you again. Jalen, as we were watching that video, you seemed concerned about something we were just seeing from Marcus Smart. What was it?
Well, clearly he's been dealing with some lower extremity injuries, right? And then we saw the fall he took that could have been his knee, that could have been an ankle, and we know about his foot. But when we seen him shooting, he was shooting off one foot.
Wrong foot, too.
You know what that means? That foot is really bothering him. That's what it means. But the one thing I know about an NBA locker room, they got some stuff, some medicine they'll give that young man, and he won't feel it by the time the game starts.
Michael, let me come back to you, and we'll talk about the impact that Robert Williams in particular can have and has had in this series. The second best player in the Miami Heat is Bam Adebayo, but you would not know it in the 3 games of this series that Robert Williams has played.
No, this is why I picked the Celtics to win this series and why I picked them to beat Brooklyn and Milwaukee. The defense. It's a great defense. It's a championship defense, and it's not just Marcus Smart. They got 2 of the 5 best defensive players in the league. This is where they, I hate to use this cliche, hang their hats. And they're going to hang it there tonight if those guys are healthy enough to be out there. And they're going to hang it on Jimmy Butler if he's not himself. If he's not Jimmy Butler, if he can't physically be able to do the things Jimmy Butler has done to be one of the, 3 or 4 best players in these playoffs. It ain't that Jimmy's not willing. We don't know if he's able. And Robert Williams and Marcus Smart are the key to that for Boston. And this is great news for the Celtics that they're both playing.
Jimmy Butler was out there, Mike Wilbon. I get what you're saying. He was out there. I don't want to hear all that.
Right.
Nah, I mean, he was out there, man. And let me tell you this, too. Jimmy Butler might not be 100%. But you were averaging 35 in the first 2 games, and then it's 7 over the last 2. Come on, man. If you're out on the court, you should be able to do more than 7 points, averaging more than 7 points over a 2-game playoff stretch when you're the star of a franchise. Come on.
Yes.
I believe Jimmy Butler will do that. He will make amends. But I don't think an injury is the reason why you average 7 points. It's not just
That's the only reason Jimmy Butler would average 7 points is an injury. What his skills disappeared, huh?
Sometimes he's not aggressive enough.
No.
How about this? How about the guards other than Jimmy Butler would hero out? They brought championship Kyle Lowry here and signed him to a 3-year deal. He has to do something and be productive. But how about this? Max Strus played 15 minutes last game and had all zeros. He had all zeros.
Oh, zero. Zero attempts.
Zero attempps.
Zero rebounds.
Points.
Zero assists.
In 15 minutes.
He had all zeros. That's unacceptable.
To be clear, that's not good. We have to play big in a game that means everything. Is there more pressure tonight on Jayson Tatum or on Jimmy Butler?
Easily Jimmy Butler. He's older, not younger. He averaged 35 points in the first 2 games. He's averaging 7 in the last 2 games. I mean, are you kidding me? The last game, he was a -30 in the plus-minus category. These are simply unacceptable numbers for a franchise-caliber player, a superstar for the team, which we all believe him to be. He's a big-time baller. We know what he can bring to the table, but that hasn't happened, especially the last game, and he's got to do something about it. Got injured in Game 3. Obviously, didn't play the second half, but Game 4, he was a no-show. He's got to pick it up to save Miami's season, because they lose this game, it's over. They're not winning Game 6 in Boston.
I agree with the conclusion, but getting there is a little tougher than Stephen A. is letting on. If Jimmy Butler is not healthy enough to be Jimmy Butler, then we're going to see more of what we saw at the second half of Game 3 when he wasn't on the floor. In the last game when he had, 6 points. So the question is not whether Jimmy Butler is willing. The question is he able? And that's the question about this whole series now. Look at the list. It looks like a football game. It looks like when we're in the press box before a football game, checking who's going to be eligible or not on the 53-man roster when they come out for kickoff.
Right.
And we just don't know. So I know Jimmy Butler has said, it's not the knee, it's me. I got to be better. I love all that. That's why we love Jimmy Butler. Yeah. Doesn't mean he's going to be able.
The Miami Heat won't have the health or endurance to win this series. I feel like they may be able to win tonight's game. Based on what you just said, Kyle Lowry has missed a game. Jimmy Butler has missed the second half. Tyler Hero has missed a game. And we see P.J. Tucker playing through injury. I think the coaching job of Eric Spoelstra has them tied in the series. They're overmatched, in my opinion, talent-wise and depth-wise by the Boston Celtics.
Look, I don't disagree with a word any of you said, but I would throw the name Bam Adebayo into this conversation. Jimmy Butler's not going to be able to do this himself, whether his knee is healthy or not. He needs some help, and the big fella, Stephen A., has not given it to him in this series consistently.
All you need to know is this. In the 1 game Robert Williams played, I'm sorry, 3 games, Bam Adebayo has got 25 points against him. In the 1 game he didn't play, he scored 31. What the hell is Robert Williams, Freddy Krueger? I mean, are we scared to death of him? You got to handle your business in that matchup.
We will talk much more about that in Countdown. It's coming your way, a full 60-minute edition before we turn it over to Game 5 tonight.
The only other players with 3 20-point first halves in a single conference finals, James Harden, LeBron James. On the other side, Jimmy Butler, he averaged 35 points a game on 62% shooting in the first 2 games of the series, but he struggled in Boston. 6-22, 14 total points, also, of course, dealing with a knee injury. The winner, by the way, of this game, primed to go on to the finals. Teams to win Game 5 of a series that's tied 2-2 in a best-of-7 go on to win that series nearly 82% of the time. Both teams, however, and this is why this has been